What's up, YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video, we're going to talk about guarantees. What's going on, guys? Hey, if you're brand new to my channel, we talk about recruiting, staffing, business, entrepreneurship, pretty much everything in between. And if you enjoy that kind of stuff, you should definitely smash that subscribe button. And you should also be a part of my Facebook group, Six Figure Recruiters. All of that link in description, and you should definitely be in the group. Pretty sure just about everyone and their mother has heard about guarantee periods, guaranteed free or your money back, that kind of thing, anything like that, right? But how do guarantees work in recruiting, which is specifically what I want to talk about today, because it's a really, really important part of your recruitment, and it's a really important part of recruiting as a whole, because it's actually what binds the entire agreement together, along with another two things, which would be your fee and your net collection terms. But we won't talk about that today, just talking about the guarantee. And I briefly want to explain why it's important, what it has to do with, what's not good, and what is good in a guarantee in recruiting. All right, so first things first, what exactly is a guarantee as it pertains to recruiting? So a guarantee in a contract means that once you place a candidate with a client that you have, you guarantee for a certain period of time that that candidate will stay with the client, or you will replace the candidate with a new candidate up to one time. Let's unpack that just a little bit, because I know that's kind of a lot, right? So what is good with guarantees and what is bad with guarantees, right? So when you place someone with a client, you basically have to give them a guarantee. It's pretty much industry standard that you provide a certain guarantee period that allows the employee to get settled in their new position and allows the client to train them and get used to them and basically have the two parties mesh together. But on your part as the recruiter, you need to do this right in your contract in order to make sure that you're protected and that you get your money and you don't have to replace people left and right. Here's what's bad about guarantees. You don't want a long guarantee. You want the shortest guarantee that you can possibly negotiate. So let's say you have a client, for instance, they ask you for something like a 90-day guarantee. Now, there are certain circumstances that would warrant a 90-day long guarantee, right? A 3-month long guarantee wherein you're on the hook if they ever quit or are fired for viable reasons. That means you need to replace that candidate up to one time, and I'll get into that in a second. But you want to really make it as short as possible, and I highly recommend always pitching a 30-day guarantee, which I think is a perfect amount of time for a candidate to get acclimated in a client's environment and for the client to totally get acclimated with the candidate. I think in about 30 days, if someone's going to get fired or if someone's going to quit, it's going to happen in a month. So by all means, I think everyone can pretty much agree that 30 days is a standard good amount of time for a guarantee in your recruiting contract. Now, I talked a lot about this in my negotiation video, so I won't go too much into it, but if your client wants to push you around on pricing, your fee, or maybe your net collection terms and that kind of thing, you may negotiate on guarantee. But at the end of the day, you really don't want to extend that guarantee out too much longer than that 30 days. You really want to hold to your guns on that and maybe even lower fee or just collect terms at a longer rate then change your guarantee. Your guarantee is really important because it essentially means once you're off the hook for that, you're done, you don't have to replace anyone, and you're cool. One thing that you never want to do with your guarantee is match it with your net collection payment terms. So for instance, if you have 30 days net pay, meaning you're going to get paid in 30 days, you don't want to have a 30-day guarantee. Those things on the same day is just not good. It generally doesn't turn out well, and it gives the client an opportunity to sort of play foul if they're that kind of bad actor, which I'm not saying all clients are, but some are, and you always want to look out for that, and you should never match it up on the same day. The other thing you don't want to do is set your guarantee way out earlier than when you're going to get paid, right? So for instance, you don't want to set a guarantee on 30 days and then have net collection period be 45 days. That makes no sense whatsoever. You always want to get paid before your guarantee ends. Now, the one thing that I alluded to a few times in the video earlier on, which is you want to replace up to one time. This is how a guarantee works, right? So upon signing of the contract, placing of the candidate with your client, you are hereby signing away that you will replace via this guarantee clause up to one replacement. Not two, not three, just one. So basically that means that if someone, like I said, is fired or quits in that guarantee time period, you will replace that candidate, but you'll do it only up to one time because we don't want to open a revolving door. What can happen very easily is if, for instance, they quit and you don't have a clause in your contract that says you'll replace up to a maximum of one time, your client can theoretically ask you to replace again and again and again. And guess what? Via contract, technically, every time you place somebody brand new, that clock starts over. So that 30-day guarantee window starts right over again, and you have another 30-day guarantee where you are on the hook. One thing to think about is that guarantee periods are always necessary for both sides, right? So it could be a situation where maybe you messed up. You placed the wrong candidate for the wrong client, and it just didn't work out. It could go the other way, where it's just not the right client and the client's terrible, the client has a bad atmosphere, and it's just not a good place to work. Therefore, the person quits and you have to replace. It could go either way. So it's sort of a 50-50 agreement. I call it sort of an insurance policy in my contract where you're able to basically say, hey, this is not working out. We're firing this person, or by the way, they quit and we're allowing for one replacement. And that's what a guarantee is really there for. One further thing I want to emphasize about the guarantee is that we never refund the client. We always replace for the client. So we never give money back. When we get paid, we get paid. That's in our bank. That's over with. All we do is replace if necessary within that guaranteed time period, up to one time once again. But we never, ever, ever, this is rule number one in recruiting, refund the client. That's not how we roll. If you have any questions specific to guarantees or anything recruiting related, drop them down in the comments down below, or absolutely join my Facebook group, Six Figure Recruiters, link in description, and I'll talk to you there for sure. Until next time.